My name is Zero Cool Gamer, and I am back again on the Crippling Truth with two interesting fellas because we're coming back for round two because there was a lot to discuss on the last video about the state of the game, and I guess we're just gonna keep going on it because why not? There's so much going on with the game right now that JPT and Flyhi have had some interesting thoughts on what U32 did to the game, negative zone, all the rewards. So let's start, I guess, with a game mode that was significant starting off on the game, and it did give you a bunch of rewards. Now it just feels supremely. It's a time. It takes time to do, and it feels stale because there's nothing new or something different that comes to it that you can go ahead and attack with it. So that would be war. War has become stale, and let's get your thoughts on it. Go with let's go with Flyhi first and see what he's got.
Well, I've made my feelings known on war before, and this may come back to haunt me, but I would rather manually blitz than play war. My issue with war is I guess the seasons are too long. If it would change, if the rules basically the rules are the same. Bridge, whatever one you're in, you're always looking at the rules, but like at least they changed up certain teams, but now it's gone on for too long. If they would switch up, because we get season rewards every 2 weeks. Okay. So if maybe once a month you would throw either different teams in there or maybe come up with different rules for war as far as the rooms go, where you change them up, because basically when you go into war, there's certain rooms you're going to go after first. Usually those rooms actually the whole war itself has pretty much the same teams on defense, and it's annoying because like if I see an Annihilator's defense in there, I'm going to take Mighty Avengers in. That's an easy win. If I see Mephisto with like Alpha Flight, well, that's Vigilante. There's no thought process to it anymore. It's so robotic that you just go in and take the same teams. Now, I will say that I do like the season rewards, at least the gold, because I'm always in need of gold. Unlike you, I don't ever need training mats. Well, everybody needs training mats, but I have an ample supply of training mats. I'm always running out of gold. So you got to just change it up to make it, more interesting, more so you can theory from it. I think that's one of the biggest issues with this game is you make things when they first come out cool, but then all the theory crafting goes away because it's the same mundane thing over and over again. So I know when I go in, I know exactly whatever room I go into, I know exactly what teams I'm going to use. And, I see all these war counters. I don't see a point for it. I don't see a point for a war counter sheet or anything because it's the same teams. So every once in a while you're running to something a little different, but you're still going to use the same teams on offense, same teams on defense. So either change up the characters or move the room rules around or come up with different room rules. That would be my suggestion.
I like the suggestion. Nice way to throw the training mats right in my face. Thank you so much. I love listening to that every single time because you have an abundance and I am just waiting for training mats to fall in my lap. But war's stale. There's not a lot of theory crafting outside of just looking at Scopely and going, you know what? I don't care what you want me to put in there. I'm gonna put these characters in there and just see what happens. And there have been some wars where we've seen crazy just setups. Since they don't have synergy, they're pretty easy to beat. But it's kind of stale putting it on auto instead of going, well, I got to think about this. Granted, yes, you got Professor X or Odin or something in a room, and then you could try that. But then again, other ways you look at it, you go, I got to face 9 rooms that suck, but now I got to think about this one room. It doesn't feel good. It feels like a waste of time. Instead of 10 rooms or 10 times I can go, and hopefully I can go ahead and beat them. But I do feel the pain with War. JPT, how you feeling about that beautiful game mode, War?
See, my biggest issue is, so for one, like ever since this game started, of course I know things do change, but I've always enjoyed the theory crafting element. I've always enjoyed the fact that, oh, you're gonna come and say something brand new and fresh, and like it's just, it makes you think about what to do, what team to use, maybe design a bit of a team and all that. Like, so that to me, for one, that I loved about War when it first came out, and then now it's just say it's gone down to, oh, literally what Fly said. You predict you're gonna find, and it's just the same stuff week in, week out, and there's just no no thought process really to it. Yeah, of course, like I know it's different in some areas when, like, let's say the top end have, like, they do certain things, they like go in, a Discord group and plan it all out, and do all their attacks all in one go and all that. Yeah, fine, whatever. But overall, it's just from what I hear and see and what we experience, my own alliance that I run, is no one cares for it. And the biggest area or reason why no one cares for it is because you need to get 24 people to work together for what? What rewards are you really getting that's so game changing in the game, and really, like, is I don't know, like 20 gear tier 20 orbs or something of significant value. You don't get anything like that. And even like the gold, like nowadays, like, what, let's say average, like if you're fairly high, it's about 15 million every 2 weeks. What does 15 million do? It can level up 2 levels of the character, if that. Like, it's not updated with the game, with what is happening right now. And I have to say, that's my biggest gripe with War, is how much effort it is to get everyone to get involved for what? And even if you win or lose, like, the difference of winning or losing is kind of nothing as well. So, cool, we lost this war. Great, we're going to get 300k gold less. So what? So I think that is the biggest area that needs to change. There needs to be something cool and unique, or I don't know, like maybe change like a reward structure every couple of weeks about what you're going to get available. Like, of course, we've got bio, mutant, tech, mystic, and skill, like characters. Like, maybe do something like this week bio gear is going to be more available for, like, so do you want to push this week? Like, you can maybe do something like that to maybe more incentivize people to be like, well, let's use Fantastic Four for example. This brand new bio team's coming out. Oh, bios this week. You know what? We can, if we actually get higher up in the season ranking, we're going to get more bio gear, and I want that for this brand new spanking new team. So that might be an incentive to be able to push War. But yeah, to me, it's the effort. The effort involved with War is just too much for such a little payout and reward.
So, thinking about it, the rewards. Okay, so the investment of 24 people with time into it versus the rewards. The rewards don't cut it. So, the first part I would say is, in a lot of other games, even in this, if you go into a campaign node, obviously you don't play too many because we're at the end game, but beginning out, when you play a new campaign node, if you don't beat it, you lose and get nothing. I'm of the fact that okay, this does take a little bit of time, so I'll give you something, but the reward should be like 10% of what the winners get. You get a little bit, but you lost. That's the thing. You lost. And I know some people be like, "Oh well, we tried to work really hard and spend tried to get everybody there, but we still lost." I don't know if there's a way to equate it to like, okay, did all 24 players actually play it and do all their matches and then they get a certain percentage of it? Like, they don't get 100% of what the winners get, obviously. The winners get a nice chunk, but the losers should feel it of going, well, if we would have did better, we would have got more. But we didn't. And hey, Joe and all these other ones, they just didn't show up. So we got X amount of reward. I guess that I'm trying to figure out how to incentivize the gameplay, at least with rewards. Because if you tell me we win and we get more rewards, I'm going to be like, hey, bro, we know what time we're going to be at. Let's do war. But I think if we're going to do that where they change the reward structure and give it a little more for your time investment, I think it should stay at 2 times a week, not 3.
Oh yeah,
I like 2 times.
And I am fine with the 2 times a week as well. Like, I do like that change, and I'm happy for that to stay. Like, to me, that's it's more than enough, because say how long it takes to actually. Yeah, of course, you can burn through 10 attacks within 15 minutes if you really want to, but generally, let's say averagely, it might take 20 to 30 minutes to actually get 10 good attacks done. And yeah, if they keeping it at 2 a week, I think it's been only minor, but a very minor good step in direction of war. Unless, which is the other side, unless they make it a really fun game mode, because that's the other side.
Yeah.
Like, it's meant to be a game, so it should be fun. And if the game mode is insanely fun, then rewards don't matter as much to me, because you're playing it for the enjoyment. You're not playing it for, oh, I'm getting this at the end. Which, unfortunately, a lot of this game is that I'm playing it for this, for something else, which then doesn't matter because you just sim it anyway or order it. So,
What?
It's just, yeah,
What if there was, maybe like a mini boss if you defeat all the rooms?
But I think
A
I've
random-
said this to you once before that what I would love to see in like war, if let's say there's one room and it maybe comes available after all the rooms are clear, or it's just a room at the side, so that's bonus extra points. Each member of the alliance puts in one character, and it can't be a duplicate. So they say if Odin's in there, no one else can put Odin in that room. So have 24 characters in a room. Make it like a mini Dark Dimension, should we say?
Oh.
And you can set like, you've got like the drop-in order. So like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, whatever. Have your alliance set a room with 24 characters and let the other alliance fight that. That to me, that I reckon could be hella fun, because you're like, holy crap, I'm coming up against X, Y, and Z. And of course, like I said, if there's a drop order, then there could be a wave of, let's say, Professor X, Mephisto, Odin, Null, like real crazy characters all in that one wave. You're like, oh god, like, how am I going to take this down? So yeah, maybe something like that to me would be like, I would find really fun.
Yeah, I was just looking at it, and now the season rewards, and there's something we forgot to say, and maybe most of us have an abundance. I actually don't, but I like the T4s at the end of the season, and I like the gold. It's the daily, it's the twice a week rewards that are just, it's like, so example, me and Z our alliance is in Platinum 3. The difference between winning and losing is 2,000 intel 5,000 purple ISO. Now there is a difference in gold because you get 900 for winning and 450 for losing. But then there 50,000 for blue ISO, regular blue 1 ISO, 200,000 for blue 2, and then 150,000 for the I guess blue 3 ISO, whatever it is you have to take the characters of 4 and 5 with the ISO. That, if they could improve that a little, maybe make the losers get less. I think the gold is right. It's everything else that you get that I just feel like is, like Jay said, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Because
Right,
you're
there's
basically
no...
almost getting the same rewards.
Yeah, the
There's no
rewards
huge
for it are a
difference.
little... Yeah, there's not a huge difference, and there should be. Or they could leave the loser at there. They should probably give about 5 or 6 million gold. It should be a little bit more than that. So that means you get 10 million, close to 10 million gold for war twice a week, and they should up the season rewards by at least 10 or 20 million, because then you're getting at least you'll be able to level one character each week, because you're getting a new character. There's 3 new characters coming usually within each patch, and you're kind of like, well, I can't even get to that guy because I'm too busy building the last one. Now, this is coming from, hey, if you don't spend or anything like that, great, don't do it. Be free to play. As free to play, you're going to be behind a little bit, and you should be, because you're free to play. You're playing a game that's out there. You can spend if you'd like just to catch up, but there are some spenders where they go, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get this. I'm going to max them out and be done with it. But the rest of the players are stuck behind because, oh crap, 3 more are coming. I don't have enough resources now to build these. And I think that disparity has increased because when I started out, I knew at the time I was not spending at all. So when a new character came out, I would go, oh crap, I'd have to sit there and figure out, do I build these 3 now or do I get the new one? And it occurred to me eventually, like, well, I'll get the new one because I'm not really seeing any use for the rest of these. They're being kind of overshadowed by the new one. And I switched my resources to going towards the new one. Then I found Twitch and YouTube, and they were like, oh, you get to switch your resources here or whatever, but you need the resources to have it. So you need to be in an alliance that at least gets these resources. But the big one was Raid, because they give you a bunch of materials, and War was like, some gold, T4s, more like that. I think as close to the end game as we can get, I think the abundance of previous gear tiers, if you're not at the end, shouldn't be as much. They should still be gated in some type of part of the game modes to where you'd have to go back there and play it. And either they restructure it every now and then, instead of just saying, here's the Doom raids. You can still do them when you're smaller, but whatever. By the time you get to chaos, the chaotic raids, you're getting so much stuff that there's no reason to go looking anywhere else. And War is giving you all this other stuff besides a small amount of gold and a small amount of, training meds here and there, and then T4s, but it's still inconsequential to the amount of characters you got to build. I'm trying to figure out how to restructure it or give them an idea of going, this is what players are looking for to be more enticed to actually play War. And I think even if they had it where all you get is 5 or even 10 G20s, or even just an orb or 2 out of it, it would entice players to play it, because I want as many G20 pieces as I can get.
The rewards have not kept up with the max levels. Right now, It costs 33,203,130 gold to take a character from level 1 to level 105. So with the new releases coming like they are, you have to be in diamond to get, and you got to finish, top 5 to just get 20 million in gold. So you're gonna have to wait a month if you're not spending, if you're free to play, or you're gonna have to wait a month and a half, relying on those rewards to level up a character to 105. I just feel like that the rewards have not kept up with the level increases.
I think with War, obviously the big part is the gold that we should probably push for, or at least tell them, hey, increase the gold a bit. If you're gonna, there's gonna be something that they're bottlenecking, and right now, obviously it's intel because it's based on the chapter structure that they got. So it's only going to be here for another 30-something days, and then it switches to something new, which I think is a good way that they're doing it, because then you can't really hoard like a lot of majority with all the other stuff you could. Here, if they did that again, but more like, look, some people, a lot of players, if they saw a bigger increase in War, especially the increase for you winning War would be a little bit more, people would be enticed to do it. Even if they threw in every war you win, you get like one random G20 piece. People will start winning in War really freaking fast just for that one piece. And I want to follow JPT too. They got to change something with the rooms, like either change up what they normally do, put something really, really specific in there to make you think about it, because you're going through War doing this or that, and it's not really. I'm trying to remember, at least going with the alliances, how War used to be, and like the feedback was inside of a group chat, or like, hey, we're going to be attacking this, or go here or go there, and we know we know this guy's got more TCP versus you go against these rooms or these teams, but if you see these, just leave them alone, the higher players will be.
Oh yeah,
now
you used to look at the room and click the names and be like, oh, who has the bigger TCP? Right, at the start of the war, leave him alone and tap the weaker person, and come back to it and clear later once the buffs are down. Like you would plan out like that, and that was the whole point of the targeting system. Which
right, and now, if I look at War, at least in terms of, okay, we got a good Discord has helped out a lot with that, where people can conversate about War and raids and stuff like that. Most of the time, it's just, hey, go do your War attacks, and that's it. Get out of there. Now, granted, yes, we are in a more relaxed. Me and Fly are in a more war relaxed type of alliance, where you do the 10 attacks, great, but if we look like we're close to winning or something, then there'll be some increase of, hey, can you jump in there and do it, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But it's usually that 90% of the time, go do your War attacks. And previously, when I was in an alliance where they were really big on War, like, look, you had to be on at least for me, 7 p.m., we're knocking out War, at least 5 or 6 attacks. The conversation was totally different now versus some of the conversations that I hear about in, prominent War alliances, where it's a lot of yelling and like, dude, you need to do this, you need to do that. Where before it was more, you can attack here, you'll be good. Hopefully go through this second, you'll be all right. We'll take care of this. It just feels like it's more, I think the chore part of it is hitting in, which is making it stale. It feels more like a chore than, oh my God, this is fantastic. It's different. It's something new, and let's go after it. And War has been feeling like that for quite some time.
Sadly, 100% it is a chore. Like, and in my alliance, because we're very casual in the alliance, as an alliance, but we still do, should we say, the top content. And it's ever since, I'm not worrying too much about the fact that the whole change from when energy used to generate every few hours or getting it all at once, but because of how lackluster War is, people just leaving it later and later and later, and then all of a sudden, the last hour, we will literally get like 200,000 points within like half an hour because everyone decides to do attacks the last half an hour war because everyone's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should actually do war.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I agree.
I think
Yeah,
there's some fixes they could probably do. We can give them some suggestions. We can give them a whole list, but something's got to be done with it because it does feel like more of a chore. I would rather be like, all right, cool. I think I'm gonna see this. I think I'm gonna see that. Nope, we're gonna see the same 10 or 20 teams, and you're just gonna be like, all right, well, I'm gonna throw this at it. I'm gonna throw this at it. I'm gonna throw this at it, and call it a day. I guess. I think there should be if either something in the store that we could add as a debuff to there, like, hey, you know what? We spend some of the alliance currency or some of the shop credits on. Hey, let's put this specific debuff in there or something because we know they can add them. They could definitely add specific debuffs from like in the danger room. So they can increase some stuff in there, and they can do some really crazy shit with some of those care packages where you're just like, this is just dumb, but it looks like it's going to be fun, so let me add it anyway. And they could really hurt the team where it's just like, boom, done with it. Now, the only actual effect that I hate is, because it's random, you don't know which one's going to happen, is when they got the one with 10 random positive effects. And I'm going, Jesus Christ, this is going to be a little difficult to beat because more than likely it's going to hit them with immunity, and I can't do nothing unless I got somebody to flip it and pray they don't get safeguard. Cool. I do like the randomness of that, but there are a number of things they could add into there where either they make an event or something where another game mode where you play it, you can beat this and you can get credits to add something different in war. Kind of falling on that top where JPT was like, we need to have something different with it. It'd be interesting if the opposing team can put something different on it. We can put something in there in one of our rooms to positively help out. Whether it's, what was that? They did a couple of them where it adds 5% speed to you and your allies. That would scare the shit out of them for a little bit. That would mess them up for a good second because you'd be like, well, crap. They're not going in the same, order as they used to, and they're hitting me. Oh crap, that might be different. I'm a little shady on the whole on the bleed thing where it adds like a ton of bleeds on your allies. I think that would totally fuck somebody over, and that shouldn't be done. That one is a little too much, but adding immunity, adding the other might be helpful.
And it could help with some of the complaints that originally started with overpower. Because if you could, you could use maybe a couple of the older, because we have teams designed for war. Now the older ones, they don't do so well now because, of being overpowered. I mean, we all know speed still rules this game. Overpower or not, if your team can go first, more than likely you're going to win. But that doesn't always happen. But that could make Gamma useful again. That could make Infestation useful again. If they had a buff that they could go get to go battle, a team that's maybe all G20 and your Infestation is, G19 or something like that. Now that would be kind of fun. To feel like all these teams that you got, then like we said, this is for end-game players, a lot of this, because we are end-game players. We have these teams that are pretty much useless now. My Infestation's like 1.1 million. I'm not investing in them. I'm not building them up. I'm not wasting those resources. Forget that. So if you could, like you said, throw something in there, like in the danger room, one of those little cards, and it could make the team useful again. Well, there you go. Now you get to figure out, okay, where could I use this team against? Who could I use this team against? You know, so that's just my feeling on that.
No, and it's something that's been said for a while. It's just I think Scopely just needs to think of it as, look, Blitz is there, but it's no longer a useful game mode because nobody wants to play it. However, it is one of the game modes that will give you random opponents based on who saves a team out there somewhere in the game. Now you got this random characters of 5 that you got to go up against. However, now we got an danger room where you're going to get dropped certain characters and you get to pick based on whatever, set of characters they're telling you to use to go ahead and try to beat them, and they're always random, which is great. We're now in that time where everything needs to be new and fresh and random, and Danger Room does that. Can they bring that to other game modes? Probably not. I'd hope that they could, because then it'd be a little interesting, but I don't know how they would introduce that part into War unless it was some part of the care packages that they're putting in there, where it could mess up their team a little bit more than yours, but just something new has to be done with War because it does feel like a chore.
Yeah, I mean, that Danger Room, that's brilliant, because I had one of my drops in Danger Room in one of the care packages was Dazzler, X-23, and Kitty Pryde. I would have to rent one because those 3 characters on my roster, they ain't nowhere close to getting, to being able to go in that danger room. So that was pretty interesting that, I got dropped and I'm like, okay, now I have to make an adjustment. Do I just go in with what I have, or do I go rent one, or what? But I did like the randomness of the drops.
Yeah, they do. It is a lot of fun because at some runs you could get exactly what the best top care packages were, and you're like, oh my god, this is going to be so great. Or all the care packages could really just be something minuscule, or it could be the same thing over and over, and you're just like, this is not going to help me when I get to the final node, or even get to the final node, because none of this stuff is really pushing my characters to beat this lineup. So give me something with it, and then, okay, do I rent one of the characters? Hopefully they're renting a G20 and maybe I can make an impact, but it gives you that excitement of, ooh, I got to really think about this, and that's what makes the game mode enticing. Except for when you throw the game mode out there, but don't give actual rewards or a leaderboard for it. Sure, you guys threw it out on, a holiday weekend, but yeah, no. Borders and stuff like that are great for like 5 seconds, but people need rewards in the game to keep pushing. And there is at least, I don't know, 150 characters that need to get reworked that we feel like we could use. Like, if they're going to do, since it's War, Gamma. There should be no reason Gamma isn't already pushed to newer stats, because we'd love to see Red Hulk take out, somebody and just be like, damn, he went nuts. But this is...
I was just going to say, Heroes for Hire. Heroes for Hire was one of the most annoying War teams to deal with. Now they're non-existent. As much as I hated Heroes for Hire, I still like going against it because it was a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I mean. These older War teams are just pretty much irrelevant now.
Yeah, it feels... On that note, that was a lot to talk about with War. I guess we'll have a part 3, because why not? There's so much stuff to talk about this state of the game that we stood a whole video on War. I'd like to thank Fly and JPT for giving their thoughts and all the swearing that happened. But you know what? Like, share, subscribe. Tell us what you think about the videos so far. We have one more coming with more stuff about the state of the game, because there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of views and a lot of ideas to take care, to put out there, and I want to make sure they all get conveyed. But like I said, leave it in the comments, and rolling out.